Hey folks, we are back on the Firebirds dev server, this time taking a look at the Su-34, and just a reminder, I have a poll going on the channel to decide which of the new aircraft I review first once the patch goes live, so make sure you check that out. Now, what is the Su-34? If you're not familiar with it, this is, it's exactly what it looks like here. It's a strike aircraft, it's a derivative of the Flanker family, and it's going to be down at the bottom of the right-hand column in the tech tree at battle rating 13.3 for air, 12.7 for ground. As always, I'll go into the history and stuff of this in a little bit more detail once the patch goes live and I do a full review. It's a really interesting aircraft. Let's take a look at the systems. Full ballistics computer for all of its air-to-ground weapons. EEGS for air combat, always good to see. A built-in targeting system. It's not actually a pod, even though it says Plantan low-light TV pod there. Built-in targeting system with a 46x optical zoom and night vision, but no thermals. It's got the SPO L150, that's a relatively modern Russian side radar warning receiver. The radar set is the V004. Now, out in real life, this is, it's a very modern radar set. It's got like multi-frequency search modes and stuff like that. But in the game, it's being represented as a pretty generic look down, shoot down, top tier set for its air modes. That's fine. I didn't really expect them to do much. It does have some ground targeting modes, which I'll show you once I fly it out. One important caveat to keep in mind, there's no helmet mounted targeting for either the radar or IR missile seekers. So if you're, thinking about using this for air combat with its agility and stuff like that, it is going to be at a slight disadvantage because it doesn't have any helmet mounted targeting. Also noteworthy, they are not modeling, at least as of the dev server here, the rearward-facing radar set, which would be back at the bottom of the tail. My gut tells me that when the patch goes live, they're just going to give this a missile approach warning system and call it a day. Alright, let's take a look at its weapons. So, for air combat, or quote-quote self-defense, we've got the full flanker kit of air-to-air missiles. We've got the 27s, the 77s, and the 73s, and you can take up to 10 of them. So really good air-to-air combat capabilities there. We've got a whole selection of dumb bombs, guided air-to-ground weapons, TV, laser, and satellite. For example, we've got satellite-guided bombs, laser-guided bombs, TV-guided bombs, a couple of versions of the KH-29 missile. We've got the 29L and the TD. The KH-29 TD, probably my favorite air-to-ground weapon in the game right now. I love that thing. Again, more guided bombs. We also have the KH-38, both versions, the ML and the MT. These things are insanely effective, and I think they're going to catch a lot of people by surprise, especially the KH-38 MT. It's an IR-guided air-to-ground missile with relatively good range and a pretty strong warhead. Expect to see some of this when the patch goes live and I do a full review. We also have a couple of new toys. We have the Grom 1 and the Grom 2. These are satellite-guided glide bombs, with the Grom 1 getting a rocket booster. Now, the range on this and on the KH-38s is insane on the stat card. I mean, 120 kilometers, come on, right? The game's engine won't always reliably let you target weapons like this out at longer ranges, past like 15 to 20 kilometers. So that's something you're going to want to keep in mind. And again, when the patch goes live, I'll do some controlled testing with these and include that in my review, their viability for like launching them off at a strategic target at the beginning of an air battles match and stuff. Anyway, let's get this thing in the air. Okay, we are in the air with the Su-34, and there are a couple of things I want to show you real quick before I go out into a live match. Check out these afterburners. I don't know about you, but I think those look way better, so definitely an upgrade there. The cockpit on this thing, really well detailed. We've got a whole set of MFDs in relatively good positions. We got a co-pilot buddy helping us out, even though he's kind of useless and just gets in the way. The bracing and everything, I want to remind you, this is a tactical bomber, not a fighter, so the cockpit isn't really set up for dogfighting. The heads-up display, again, is the Soviet style. We've got the radar scope overlaid on the HUD, so if you're not used to that, that'll be a thing. But overall, I'm looking forward to trying this in VR once it goes out live in the game. Now, I want to show you what I was talking about before with the Groms. I tried doing this out in a live match. But I didn't have a lot of luck because I kept getting spam ram pushed before I could get in a position to launch these things. Because everyone's really cutthroat on the dev server for some reason. But if you use your automatic cycling there to target a strategic base and just dump these Groms on them, I don't know how viable that's going to be as a tactic, but assuming that actually works, like, it might end up being worthwhile to take a couple of those things for doing exactly that, like just dunking them out on one of the base points earlier in a match before you go in for air combat, and like maybe 2 minutes later when they finally reach the target, you just randomly get some points. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Of course, this being in test flight, those are just going to destroy that base. Out in a live match, the damage is going to be much lower. I do want to show you a couple of things here. So, this is the regular built-in targeting pod view. Again, really good zoom on this. Unfortunately, no thermals. All we got is night vision. Sorry for blinding you there, but I just wanted to show it. And let's see if we can... Yeah, we're not going to be able to auto-track at that distance, but we should be able to fire one of these, couple of these missiles off at that SPAA. We've got it lased. That'll do its thing. And again, the actual practical engagement range of these weapons is really going to be at the mercy of... Yeah, you can see it took out the base there, the Groms. The practical engagement range of these weapons is going to be at the mercy of the game engine's rendering distances. Even though they can actually hit things out at like 30 kilometers, you really won't be able to actually target anything that far out. So that's a consideration. Anyway, as I kind of said at the beginning of the section here, I had been planning to do some ground attack stuff with these weapons out in a live match to demonstrate, but other players aren't cooperating, so I'm just going to take it out for air combat because fuck it. Okay, we are out in a live match with the Su-34 here. And there are a couple of quick things I forgot to mention out in the test flight. I want to show you, it's got a couple of ground tracking radar modes. We have a regular search ground moving target indication, so that's pretty decent. We also have a track while scan ground moving target indication mode. So those could end up being kind of useful out in like simulator battles or for ground RB. You can see there I'm already getting something on the track while scan, so... Moving targets out on the ground. Not bad. Also, the fuel on this plane is currently bugged. I selected to fly out with a 50% fuel load, which it told me was going to be 15 minutes, and I spawned in with about 30 minutes of gas. So hopefully they fix that. Anyway, I'm going to skip ahead here, see if I can find some air combat. Maybe I'll get lucky and actually get a close-in dogfight where I can try out some... insane AOA tricks. We'll see what we get. Alright, we're fighting bots, so I was actually able to get in close. Let me see if I can swing around. I'm gonna have to slow down a little bit. No air brake on this plane. That is definitely a thing. Oh, look at that turn. Oh, insane. Love to see it. Oh, with the crazy hobs. Love to see it. Of course, it costs like all of my speed to do that, so now I'm sitting here helpless. You know, that is the limitation. Ooh, vortices. Gotta love the vapors. Love that. That is, you know, a limitation with planes like this and really the whole flanker family. You can pull... that insane AOA stuff sometimes, but doing so is often going to put you at a really serious positioning disadvantage. So it's something you want to be aware of. I'm not going to... Oh, those are bots. All right. I was saying I'm not going to steal the kill from my buddy, but if those are both bots, I don't really care. And again, you know, radar is allergic to enemy targets. Look at that. Always so annoying. I really wish they'd fix that bug. So my first impressions with the Su-34 here, its rate of climb isn't really that great, even with full afterburners. The agility is excellent for one maneuver, and you're going to lose all of your energy, you know, when you pull one of those crazy, insane AOA turns. Let me try one more thing here. I'm going to skip ahead and gain a little bit of altitude. I'm going to switch to full realistic controls and try some silly stuff just to show you. Okay, so we're at a relatively safe altitude. I'm going to switch into full realistic controls, dump a little bit of speed. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's absolutely insane. Oh, of course, you know, the combat utility of doing, like, weird flips like that and stuff in the air, you know, if you actually pull, like, a falling leaf or something like that. The combat utility of those moves is extremely limited, but it's still fun just to be able to do that stuff. Anyway, my overall impression of the Su-34 on the dev server is very positive. Hopefully when they clean up some of the little stuff, when this patch goes live, this is going to be a pretty effective aircraft. Make sure you're subbed to the channel so you can see the full review when that drops. As always, thanks for watching.